My name is Justin Hodge. I'm the co-founder and president of Muscular Moving Men Storage. So we're a total staff of about 125 people. It's about 80 or so people in the field and 40-ish people in the office. We run about 25 trucks in total. So that's a combination of your tractor trailers. We have local box trucks as well as flatbeds that will do our storage moves as well. So we do local residential moving first and foremost as kind of the primary part of our business, but we've added commercial moving as well. We have a storage facility. We have around 1,000 storage vaults at this point, so over 1 million pounds of customer items. We also do long distance, and we've added junk removal as well. So really anything and everything when it comes to the moving industry. Yeah, so this year we'll do 12 million, so we're up from about 8 previous year. Going into next year, we expect to be 15 to 16. So we're up 50% year over year, and that trajectory has been pretty solid for us over the last 5 years. So first and foremost for us, the crew level employees, the mover athletes are what we call them and have here. So we've been on a mad tear to hire those folks. In our office staff alone, we've grown 50+% just inside the office. So around 40 people or so total just inside the building here to run this operation. So we're very well segmented from our teams for marketing and sales and human resources and training. And that's a big thing for us, because initially when you start, you kind of do all these jobs collectively and wear every hat as the owner. And there really was no playbook for us, so we just kind of figured it out as we went. So we've added a lot of crew members over the last 18 months. We've added a lot of pieces of equipment and different resources. And the challenges we've had with COVID and material prices going up, all those things have played a factor, but we've been pretty strong. We started in 2008. We're about 13 years into our organization now, and it originally just started with Josh, Gerald, and myself. We were the co-founders and owners of the business, and so initially just started based on an ad we had on Craigslist. We would do moves for folks after hours, after our normal day jobs. So you run into some pretty interesting situations along the way, and as we started to add additional staff members, it became apparent that no longer just having a clipboard, some paper and a pen and writing out job sheets was going to be sufficient. So, we tried out different softwares. We came, through some different scenarios, and over time, eventually, it's now been 4 years that we've been using Movegistics. The less software you have, the better. We want to have one process that we can put into a box, package up, and get out to, a new organization, a new operation that we open up. So, there were different systems that would do different things. You have your CRM that's managing your previous customer base. You've got your operations, you've got your payment processing and your storage over here. So being able to put those all into one central location really makes it streamlined. So when you're onboarding new staff, the curve is not as steep. They actually understand pretty quickly what we do, who we are. So as we grow into other states, you need something that can grow along with you. You need the support from a team that's going to be able to provide the updates that are ongoing to the software, which has been great for us. And we needed something that would really contain everything. I'm a big fan of getting it right the first time, and we certainly did our homework and we tried out different softwares. And after we got through a handful, this was the best fit for us. So Movegistics has been great, and we're a big fan. Now, being 4 years in, it's hard to imagine us switching to a different provider. We just had this kind of basic system where we would use pen and paper and clipboards, and then from there we progressed to using our own blend of Outlook. So we had this calendar function, and for a long time we started to realize, well, if you extend an appointment from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and you put a color on it, that could be a truck. So for us, we name our truck. So that's Flex right there. This can be Hulk, and that'll be Arnold. And for a period of time, you just attach a Word document to that, you open it up, your sales team kind of has this understanding of how to do this, but it's just not scalable.
Before, we used multiple programs in order to just book a move, another program to schedule the guys and book the trucks. I believe we used a third program before to even do our long distance moving as well.
This is a very tough industry. The crew level employees, the staff in the office, they're long hours. The only way that I think that you can, continue to make sure that your staff is happy is obviously having a great camaraderie and a workplace to work in. But if the software and the way that we process our jobs was a challenge, then that would just add to the stress. So it's nice to be able to, work in a system that everybody is on the same page with. The communication, it flows from department to department. So there's no doubt that there's been a time savings by getting with a moving software that fits us better than all the previous ones that we've done. So there's been time savings, and with that, you're adding to your bottom line at the end of the day. That takes less people to do the same jobs, and using the Movegistics software has certainly helped with all that. Some of the things for me that I'm a fan of is the ability to closely monitor our lead sources. So we're very meticulous about finding out where did every lead come from, and having information for those individuals in our system and tracking what we're doing with those. So our marketing team can be on top of what's happening on that end. And the same with our customer base. So we want to be able to stay in communication with those folks and send them regular communication out and say, hey, we're here if you need us in the future. And from an operations standpoint, being able to get the teams their information the day before. So with a click of a button, being able to text and email them their job sheets so they understand what they're walking into the next day. I think that's their biggest challenge, is what am I going to get myself into? Because they know it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's a long day in most situations. So who am I working with? What truck am I going to be on? Where am I going? So I think their side of it is an important one. And obviously, aside from that, just the actual running of the bill, the actual payment collection process. So we have a fairly complex way of compensating our staff, and we have 4 different businesses essentially. You've got your commercial side of it, residential, long distance, all these things. And so having something that a central way of containing all this information has been crucial for us, and we've been very pleased, and we see that it continues to update, which is great. For us, we're big on not doing double work. We want the sales team to get directly into the platform, enter the client information quickly, work through the process, and we monitor those calls to review what their process is. And so when you're doing call tracking, and every minute equates to dollars and cents at the end of the day, you want to keep those calls tight. And so having them navigate through the process that Movegistics has laid out helps us stay organized, helps them stay organized, and by the end of that conversation, the formula that you set up makes it very easy for somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience in sales to get an estimate to their client.
My team and myself like the fact that it forces you to go through every step. You get the customer's information, get the addresses, where you're moving from and to, inventory, and then the pricing. So you can't really skip the steps. It forces you to kind of go through each step. It's almost dummy proof. Love the e-sign feature. Love the fact that the customers can choose their coverage, so they're able to read through all of the contract there, initial, sign. So a very easy feature to use, and we don't have to do anything with paper. I personally use the Mover Survey app. I like it a lot. It's very fluid, very easy to use. Once I save the inventory, I can give the customer a quote right online by just using a tablet and going right to the website.
So the calendar is important to us. We use that collectively as a whole unit. So our sales team is only going to schedule moves if we have the available resources to do it. And also our operations team on a daily basis, they'll run a capacity report so they can make sure that our sales team is in sync with them, and they use the calendar feature in Movegistics to do that.
Well, the CRM we used before did not have everything all in one. So we are now able to book the move from start to finish in the current CRM we're using now. We're also able to schedule the move with the guys right on the calendar, and the trucks that we have right on the calendar with one system, one software. So we were not able to do that before. Along with that, our long distance department is able to plan their trips using this software. So it's definitely really helped us out throughout the years.
On the dispatching side of things, we are a paperless company, so we work with tablets with our crew level employees and making sure that they get their information dispatched directly to them on their tablet. We actually, when they leave our location, they, at the click of a button, can send a text to the client notifying them that they're on the way. That's a nice feature we take advantage of. When the teams arrive on site for our clients, they can quickly work through a tablet showing the client, what coverage they've signed up for, what's the start time, the crew that's there on site, and the information flow back and forth from the crew level employee to operations is pretty quick and seamless, and they have a nice communication. So it makes things move a lot more quickly, and so time is money for us.
They're able to see what supplies are needed for each job. They're able to see what house they're going to, if there's any stairs or elevators, because this is all built into the CRM, where we can select whether there's elevators, single level home, etc. So our guys are really loving using the Movegistics app, because everything is right on there for them. So Another thing is they're able to do the bill right there in front of the customer, able to go through the charges, and the customer can sign off on a receipt right then and there.
So the BOL app that our teams use in the field is definitely something that they've gotten accustomed to. I think that you have initially some pushback from people that are used to paper and pen, and when you make that transition, it's challenging. But I think just staying on top of that and helping educate them on a regular basis. And again, I think that the nice thing about Movegistics is that all that training is provided inside of the software when you get in there, and also the team being so close in contact. If we have any challenges, we reach out to them. So yes, after a while they really start to take to it. It just takes a process to make sure that they continually educate themselves and they understand the process. We just have to get them up to speed. But no, it's intuitive, and it definitely makes the job run a lot smoother. So obviously not having to spend money on paper and printer ink and all those things. So when we do the volume that we do, we're in the range of 400 to 500 moves a month right now. So that's a nice thing to go completely paperless and not have to worry about that. So information flows efficiently between the crew level employee and the operations team.
Definitely no more paper. Before we use this CRM, we printed out all of our contracts. We had paper receipts that we would have to do with start times, end times, and then run a bill on a paper receipt and have the customer sign that. On top of that, just administrative work by scanning the receipts and then putting it into our folder there on our computer. So now we don't have to do any of that. We don't have to print any paper. We don't have to buy receipts. So that's definitely a money saver right there.
Yeah, so having QuickBooks integrated with the software is nice, and it makes it pretty simple so that we can kind of get through what was part of this. Part of the billing was the move portion, the packing supplies, and all these things. So we're very meticulous about tracking the expenses from each move, the profit from each move. Our sales team is paid in such a way that it's dependent upon how profitable those moves were. So being able to itemize out those different aspects help us stay on track of if we're charging the correct rates, if we're getting paid for the materials that are being sold, and all those things. The reports that are generated from Movegistics definitely are part of our decision making. So that helps us determine the revenue that was received from certain lead sources, and how much each salesperson is doing in business. Who has a strong booking percentage and who doesn't. When you hit the estimate and you don't. So we run these kinds of reports on a daily basis, and it helps us track where we need to improve. So the margin report is one thing, again, that we use. Our operations team will track on a daily basis. And so our team is incentivized to be within a certain margin, and by being able to run that report within the software, that helps us ensure that we're being profitable.
Oh, I love using the sales reports. So actual versus estimates, that's a big one for us. Our sales team sends a report every single day to see how accurate our sales team is, and we like to share that with the entire staff just to see how accurate our jobs are. So that's another huge report we use. We also love using the lead source report. Having realtors that refer us business all the time and knowing where our jobs come from is hugely important to us. We got to make sure that we continuously think whether a realtor referred us a job, whether it was a specific apartment complex, senior living, so we can have our marketing team either send them a letter, a thank you card, and go out there in person and personally thank them. So that's one of the very important reports that we use all the time.
And so for us, the nice thing about Movegistics was that working with the staff, I think first and foremost, was a great point of emphasis for us, having a direct line of communication with Adarsh and his team, not just kind of being routed to a middleman, so to speak. And another thing that's nice is the training that's provided within the system. So actually you can go through these different modules and you can keep track of what your staff's doing, so you can figure out if they're actually doing the work or not to understand what is the software, how do I do these different things.
So Movegistics does a really good job of adding new features. They always send out a report or an email to us letting us know what the features are with a step-by-step instruction video of how it's used, so it's very helpful. Movegistics support is great, so anytime we submit a ticket or an email, they usually get back to us within 24 to 48 hours with a solution and that it's done. And if they're not done, they always send us a constant reminder that they're still working on the challenges that we're having, so Movegistics support is definitely a great feature as well. I would say just the fact that it's a streamlined program, it's all-in-one program, and I know you can book a move through Movegistics, you can schedule the guys, you can do inventory through Movegistics, you can keep track of your storage, invoices, billing, sending text messages for payments to your customers. It's just an all-in-one program for almost everything you do on a daily basis with your business, so I'd highly recommend it.
Now, having used this system for 4+ years and being more than 25,000 moves in, we feel that it's a really good fit for us.